I wasn't raised with wealth. I didn't come from money. I didn't go to college. It was a 10-year grind from nothing. We were able to help over 2,000 families. Our team is incredible. I wouldn't be where I am without the team. I just want to be known as the guy that helps train people better than anyone else. When I think about the victories, I think about like, what do people think of me as a person? If you can do it, do it. Do the stuff you want to do, because you just don't know if you're going to have that to do later. Jared Davis. I am from Richmond, Virginia. Born and raised in Chesterfield, which is just south of Richmond. I live in Goochland County now, technically, but yeah, born and raised 36 years. Pastimes, I like to race cars, really big car junkie, big on traveling. I probably spent about 2 months out of country, or at least in a hotel somewhere this year, so travel's big. I love to eat, so big foodie, so I'd say cars, watches, bourbon, travel. Spain's my favorite place. Switzerland, probably a close second. Asia, Thailand was great. We've been to, I don't know, probably 6 countries this year. Pretty good travel year. Right now, I daily drive a Cayenne S 2024. I've got a Porsche GT4 RS, which is a track car, and then classic Ferrari 1995 F355 with a gated manual, and then there's some motorcycles and some other stuff, but that's probably the exciting stuff. What do I do? So I used to tell people I was a realtor, still am, right? Still a real estate agent, but we run the #1 team at eXp Realty in Richmond, Virginia. We also have a mortgage company. We have a title company. We have a fix and flip company. So we buy houses, we fix them up, we sell them, and then we raise capital and we purchase apartment buildings. So we have a capital raising investment company as well. I've got over 300 apartment doors. So we also have an investment company as well. Really at this point, it's just the amount of different people we're helping. We're giving people housing. We're helping people find houses. We're giving people places that rent, that can't purchase. We're helping agents grow. We've got over almost 400 agents with us at eXp Realty. So 34 agents on team. I think just seeing how people's lives are slowly but surely getting better each and every day. That's kind of where we're at now, I think, in the business. 10 years ago, it was just selling houses. Now, there's just so many more broader impacts that we're having. It's pretty great. I actually sold advertising, print ads. My father was a salesman. He would listen to Zig Ziglar and Rich Dad, Poor Dad in the car when I was a kid, pretty much. So I had a lot of those books kind of embedded into my memory, even pre-teen. And I got into selling ads, but it was a tough job. It was not a large pay. It was a very high volume sales environment. You had to sell a lot of ads to make a decent living. And I bought my first house at 18, and the broker that helped me was like, man, you should get your real estate license. And I didn't go to college. I didn't go to school. So I thought, you know, this sounds better than selling ads, right? And once I started to understand, man, I could sell 1 house a month for what I'm doing to sell 10 or 15 ads a week, it just seemed like a no-brainer at the time to get into, at least to be in a sales industry that didn't require me to necessarily do 4 years of college, didn't need the degree. It just kind of fell into place. At the end of the day, I don't really go by realtor anymore, because it's not that we don't still sell a lot of houses. We sold $100 million in houses this year, but we're really helping the team grow at this point. We've got 34 agents on our team. We're trying to grow to 50. We have 400 agents that we coach through eXp Realty, and then we're building other businesses, right? We're fixing up houses, we're flipping them, we're buying apartment doors. It goes far beyond just helping clients buy and sell now, because there's so many more business arms and verticals that I'm involved in at this point. eXp, obviously, it's the #1 brokerage in the world now. We have almost 90,000 agents. I'm one of their top attractors to the company in the state of Virginia, and really just a lot of high-level coaching. I really want people to realize that we are here to help them grow no matter where they're at in their business, right? Whether they're a brand new agent or if they're an agent that's been killing it, but maybe they're starting to feel bottlenecked or overwhelmed. I used to be that agent that was selling 100 houses a year with no team, but was just stressed to the max. Whether people want to scale a showing model, whether they want to scale investments, whether they want to scale a team, we're really just trying to help as many agents as possible. So we actually have agents in 26 states now and 4 countries, I believe, maybe even 5 countries now. I think agents get into this business because they think there's a bunch of freedom involved. I hear so many people get a license because I can make my own schedule, but you realize really fast that schedule is nights and weekends and when other people are available. So you have to kind of figure out, like, is that what you want for the long term? And it wasn't really what I wanted for the long term. I wanted to keep scaling. I wanted to keep growing. I didn't want to just cap out at 100 homes a year. So going down this path has helped us to really impact more people. My revenue share organization did $1 billion in sales this year, and I think we sold over 2,000 houses. So we were able to help over 2,000 families. Impact-wise, it's letting us hit a much broader spectrum of people in different places, and I like it. I like watching people grow, and I like their growth being able to affect other people. So I think it's just a bigger picture. So I actually do about 10 Bible studies a week. I talk to people a lot of times that are like, man, I don't know how you do all the work you do and how you run all these companies. And then they find out that my entire Friday and Saturday is just Bible studies. Then I go to, meetings on Sunday and Tuesday, and sometimes I'm doing Bible studies midweek. And I really like that effect, that why, to be able to help people with more than just money. So when people find that out about me, most people don't realize that that's like the biggest thing that I do in my life. All of the EXP and revenue share and selling and team running and apartments, that really just funds the ability to be able to drop what I'm doing and go help people where I think it really matters, right? Which is their long-term hope, their long-term lifestyle. That is definitely my actual why. This is just let me do it in a way that's given me the freedom to help people whenever they need it. The biggest thing with the communities that we serve, that's the impact, is that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter whether you're young or old or male or female or whatever it is. Like, I'm just trying to help people. Like, that's like our biggest thing, is just how do we help as many people as possible. So on the Bible study side, we've got Bible studies with people that are as young as early 20s all the way up to retired people in their 70s. So we're always trying to make that impact. But then on the real estate side, it's the same thing. I don't care if you're a first-time home buyer or if you're trying to buy your first investment or your 100th investment. The whole thing is, no matter where you're from, no matter what your income bracket is, we just want to be able to help. So we're not really like a master of one thing. We really do just help people across the board. When I think about victories, it definitely goes beyond money. People ask me a lot, like, when are you gonna stop? Or they're like, what's your goal? Like, where are you going with this? And I don't think there is a money goal at this point, right? It's kind of like I built a vision board and finished it. Like, I finished my vision board. I had to like make another vision board because it was just done. It's just the life I lived, right? So when I think about victory, like, yeah, I built my dream house. Yeah, I have my dream cars. Yeah, we get to travel. My wife's amazing. I get to spend time doing volunteer work. But now I think about it as, when I think about the victories, I think about, like, what do people think of me as a person? So many people chase success because they think that's what is going to make people look up to them. But the reality is, the more successful you get, typically the more you get judged, the more critical people become. So when I think about victory now, I just want people to know, like, man, Jared is there to like help you no matter what you need. Like, you can call that guy, whether it's a real estate question or a Bible question or a life question, or you just need a listening ear. Like, I think that's like the victory now, is that I think people have come around to realize, like, man, like, no, that's just like the guy that's going to help me with whatever it is that I need help with. I think that's where we count victories at this point. It's not really numerical. We have our number goals, by the way. They're just far more secondary, more of a tracking mechanism than anything else. I used to always want to get out of Richmond as a kid because I was born and raised here. And then I started growing older. I started getting to travel, and I realized, like, Richmond's actually a really cool home base. It's a medium-sized city, so you don't have all the traffic. It's really affordable. The house that I built here, if it was in, I don't know, LA or wherever, would be probably $6 million house, right? So the reality is, it's just really affordable. It's a good hub. I actually really like traveling out of Richmond. Like, our airport has nobody in it. You can TSA pre through Richmond's airport in 10 minutes. So you show up before your flight, like 10 minutes before boarding anywhere. So to me, I like the lifestyle. The river runs through the city. You can whitewater raft through our city. You can mountain bike through our city. We've got like 40 or 50 breweries. We've got more restaurants per capita than most cities out there, right? So the food scene's really good. So I think because it's an affordable home base, you're still an hour from mountains, an hour from beaches, 2 hours from beaches. I think it's just a really cool place to be now, especially considering I travel so much. I get my fixes of all the other stuff. On day one, it was just helping people get into home ownership. And don't get me wrong, I will be very clear. I got into real estate for the money. When people are like, why do you do this? And they try to have these like noble whys, like, yeah, but if you got paid nothing, you probably wouldn't do it, right? Like, that's why I do Bible study work. I don't get paid anything to do that. That's like a true why that is selfless. Real estate was about money. It was like, how can I provide and not be so stressed out? But you do feel good helping people get in their first home, helping people with that success. I think nowadays that still applies, but it also applies in like helping that first agent get their first deal, or helping that team leader that starts out go from nothing to 10 team members. When you can see those things that click, right? I see people that are 2 years behind me, or 5 years behind me, or 10 years behind me. I have that same excitement for watching them hit those milestones that I remember hitting back then. Neither of my parents went to college. I think my dad dropped out in like the first semester. He was always like a business starter, and he was always a good salesperson. But like the biggest thing that people will say is that everybody's like, oh man, your dad's just such a good guy. So same thing. Like, I know knew he was a good sales guy, but he was a likable guy. So to me, I always watched him build businesses and sell. He owned a tire shop and he owned an ad shop. So I think for me, I never thought about going to college. I never thought about doing anything other than probably selling something. And then it's just a matter of, again, what's going to be the most profitable thing to sell. And then that's kind of grown into what it's grown into today. So yeah, I always watched my dad sell stuff as a kid, and it just kind of led me into sales. And we're still selling. I said we sell apartment buildings, we raise capital, we do fix and flip. So everything is that we sell mortgages. Everything is an extension of that. I always think like I'm more of a marketing person than a realtor, right? If I had to say, what am I today? I'm likely a promoter. I promote my mortgage company. I promote my title company. I promote my real estate company. I promote my coaching company. It really is just that. It's promotion. Anybody that follows me on Instagram or Facebook sees I'm like in my pool in the dead of winter, cold plunging like 3 days a week, and I've got a sauna in the house. So going on a good drive, I think a good workout, sauna session, pool, I think just being able to sit and not do anything sometimes is great. And then travel. I'd mentioned this earlier, but I think I flew 8 or 9 months out of this year. And I think next month I already have 8 or 9 months on deck with stuff already booked and planned. And some of it's conferences, right? So it's still a lot of work related stuff, but just getting out of town and breaking the monotony that is every day of just like sales and people running and coaching calls and checking on flips and Bible studies and ministry work, right? Like just getting out. I love that time on a plane where like nobody can call me and I can just meditate on what I'm trying to do, or that time in the sauna where it's like a half an hour where nobody's bugging me. That's probably like my detox time. What part of my journey would surprise people? I think the fact that I wasn't raised with wealth. I didn't come from money. I didn't go to college. I think so many people see a lifestyle that you build and they think, oh man, you must have just been born into this. And it really wasn't that. I mean, I watched my parents build businesses as kids, and I watched people struggle with money, and I watched things happen, and I didn't go to college, and I started selling at 16. I skipped college. I graduated high school at 16, bought a house at 18, but no cosigners. I got my first credit card by talking to a guy I sold ads to that ran a bank, and I was like, can you help me get a credit card? And he wrote a letter to the credit bureau with my application so I could get a credit card at 18. It was a grind. Everybody looks now and they think, oh, it's always been, it was a 10-year grind from nothing. So yeah, that's probably what would surprise most people. When I got into this business, there were so many rough and tough realtors that would just, oh, I've been in this business for 20 years. I've been in this business longer than you've been alive. And you always almost, at the start of this business, I wanted to be rough and tumble back. It was just like, dude, I've sold more houses this year than you've sold in your entire 10-year career. And then you start to realize just because other people want to act that way, you should never act that way, right? I read a book, everybody should read it. Most people probably have, but How to Win Friends and Influence People. Just basic how to deal with people psychologically. And then you just start to realize, like, no matter how much of a jerk somebody is on the other end, it's never going to help to try to come back and be that way. So to me, like earlier in my career, I think I was probably a rougher realtor than I am now. Now I'm just like, I just want to be everybody's friend. I just want to make sure this is the easiest deal you've ever done. I don't want this to be rough. If you want to argue about stuff, I'm not going to do it. So that was probably the hardest thing I had to learn. And it was because you were trained by other realtors. You were seeing how other realtors were. But now I realize, yeah, don't be like those people. Just be kind to everybody, be nice to everybody. It doesn't matter how important somebody thinks they are. Just be a good person and it will go so much better for you in this business. Right now, we're working on a bunch of stuff to help agents get out of tax liability. So, we're coaching on that. We're building some platforms out. I've spoken at conferences for EXP in front of 1,000+ people on how to build organizations, how to coach. But I think the biggest thing, at least locally, is events. I mean, we throw more events and more training than anyone else in town, right? We do live role plays twice a week. We do a agent happy hour every other month in Richmond and every other month in Virginia Beach. We run a grid investment meetup every single month in Richmond and Virginia Beach. We run quarterly events with 100+ agents, and it has nothing to do with EXP, right? We invite every single agent out that wants to come out. I just want to be known as the guy that helps train people better than anyone else. And so that's where I think people know us now. Is like, man, that dude just out, just helping agents grow. People misunderstand realtors because they think that they're a worthless profession most of the time. And I actually tend to agree with most people on that, in the sense that when you look at stats, 72% of agents didn't sell a house last year. So these agents are getting into the business and they don't have a marketing budget. They don't have a marketing strategy. If you ask them why you should hire them, they have no real answer. So I think to break the mold, there are good agents out there. There are agents that have good marketing strategies, good marketing plans, that go the extra mile, that make sure this process is smooth and easy and negotiate well for you. do, but the reality is you have to find them. So it's not necessarily a mistruth. The truth is 75% of agents shouldn't be real estate agents. But the real truth is that the top agents and the agents that are really in this business and doing it right are an invaluable service that people are going to need forever. So people that think real estate agents are going away, they're not going away. Our team is incredible. I wouldn't be where I am without the team. So anytime I get any kind of award, I'm always like, it's the team, it's not me. And really, even as more and more as I backtrack out of like the day-to-day sales role, right, to help them, we really do everything. When I look at the team, I've got guys that are finding distressed properties to help people get out of their houses that are about to go through foreclosure and lose their home. I have people that are finding land and we're selling it to Main Street Homes and Shell Brothers and a lot of these big builders out there. I've got people that are doing first-time home buyers. I've got people that are door knocking. I've got people that are doing open houses. Our team is so diverse, even culturally. Sometimes real estate can fit into this mold of what is a realtor? What is the average realtor? How old are they? What gender are they, right? You see all these things, but I look at my team and I've got people from Vietnam and Colombia and America. There's so many different races and cultures and backgrounds. I love our team for that. We are a younger team. We have some older ones too, but we're a pretty young team. We're a very diverse team and they kill it. When I came to EXP, that was like one of the biggest doors that opened because it got me around a lot of these teams that were selling 1,000 houses, 2,000 houses a year. And I just didn't realize what was possible until I came over and I started getting in the rooms with these people. But it goes beyond even some of those teams because it goes into even the agents that are helping other agents, right? Like I'm trying to grow our agents to help more agents. And again, even getting with people that have thousands of agents that they're helping is just giving me this perspective of what that side of the business looks like. And then I think even in my investments, I have a partner that I've known for 7 years now that I got into this business with because he bought a lot off of me. And now we own hundreds of doors together and now we're business partners. But I think, that guy's taught me a lot as far as how to structure deals, how to put them together, how to raise capital. So because of how many businesses that I have running, it's hard to answer that because I have just multiple kind of mentors and visionaries and things like that that have gone across every facet of the businesses. As far as the inspiration, when I look at clients, like I've had clients that have reached out that had been renting for like 10 or 15 years, the same rental, they had perfect credit, they had good income, and they just never bought a house. And I think about people like that we were able to get into homes, and now I look back 6-7 years later and they show up to every client appreciation party and they're like, man, we're so thankful that you got us into a house. And now they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. It's their biggest investment that they have, right? I think more people need to be shown the way. So I think that fits the client mold. And then I look at agents that come to me and they're struggling. I've had agents that have dealt with depression, agents that just didn't know how they were going to pay their rent, agents that didn't know what they were going to do to get their next paycheck or their next meal, right? And then being able to see them turn their life around and be able to provide for their family and be able to buy their own houses and be able to invest. So it's twofold. It's like on the team side and the EXP side and the coaching side, it's like, man, I'm watching these agents change their lives. But then on that home purchaser side still, it's like, man, we're still driving to help 500 families a year just within our team, because watching those people that didn't have homes attain home ownership is just, it's huge. It's huge for people. We've been doing them every year for 7 years now and they've just grown. We normally just rent out an entire restaurant, open bar and open food and buffet. It's really just to say thank you for everything that we've been able to build, because if it wasn't for the clients and it wasn't for the team, we wouldn't have any of this stuff. I mean, we are really around because of referrals and because people reach out and say, you have to call Jared, you have to call the Davis Group, you have to call them. They know what they're doing. I never want to get too big where we don't do that. I do worry that at some point we're not going to have a restaurant big enough to fit everybody. So that has been an ongoing problem as our client base grows. But there's people that have been coming to our client party for 8 years since we started, right? That are like, man, you were at our first one, and they're still there and they see the growth, but they're like, you're still here and you're still doing the thing that you were doing 8 years ago. For travel, I mean, just little stuff like getting to know the culture where you're at. Like I love to get to know the people where you're at. I love the idea of maybe like living somewhere for a few months. Like I would love to live in Spain every year for a few months just to like take it in. It's just a better way of life. So I like to just get into like whatever the way of life is where you're at, right? Because most places are more low key than America. And then food, we're huge on foods. It doesn't matter if it's cheap or expensive. Like we're going to Mexico City and Guadalajara in a couple months and I'll eat at the best Michelin star restaurant that I can, but I'll also just walk around and eat tacos for a day, right? You just want to like take it all in. So that's what I like to do. Taking the culture, taking the food, taking the people. Obviously, with everything we have going on, it's hard to get away for a lot of ski trips, but I figure at least once a year we like to go somewhere good. So the last few years we've done, Vail, we've done Whistler, we've done Breckenridge, we did A Basin. This year we're actually doing Livigno in Italy. So I'll fly to Milan and then take a bus out to Livigno and I'll snowboard the Alps. So that's huge. Cars, we were in Germany back in September. I rented a Porsche GT4 on the Nürburgring. I did a ride along in a GT3 RS. I rented a a BMW M2 to drive on the Autobahn through 5 countries in Europe. Anything that wraps around food, cars, things like that, snowboarding, it's great. The Autobahn is actually just most of the highways in Germany, and it just goes from speed limit to no speed limit here and there. You run through stuff where it does have speed limits. There's actually a lot of traffic in a lot of it in Germany, so you can't just like go crazy. But when you find those stretches, like we were going from Munich to Austria, and before we hit Austria, there was a stretch that was just empty forever with no speed limit, and it is just great just knowing you can cruise and not have to worry about police or anything else. It's not even about like crazy speeding, but you just realize like, oh, if you want to drive at 120 for the next 30 minutes, it's fine. It's empty. You're going to get to where you're going like that. So I wish we had something like that in America. I wish you could, drive at your safety pace. You know what I mean? Well, how about the lesson of what you get out of just the travel in general, or just being around, right? Like, I think we get so wrapped up in like the day-to-day where it's just like everything's busy. You wake up every day and your calendar's just like full, that being able to get away and being able to do those travel days, those are like really like the lessons where you realize like, man, why are you doing all the things you're doing anyways, right? It is to help people. If you don't ever get your downtime, if you don't enjoy it, then it's kind of pointless. There's so many people that don't live life ever, right? I talk to people in Richmond that have never been on a plane, that have never been out of the country, that have never been anywhere. Or you get people that they're planning to do it in retirement. When I'm 60, I'm going to do this. When I'm 70, I'm going to do this. And you don't know, man. You don't know if you're going to be healthy enough at 60 or 70 to go snowboard in the Alps, or go drive on the Nürburgring, or do the stuff you want to do. So, I mean, I think my biggest lesson is like, do the stuff you want to do. If you can do it, do it. Like, do the stuff you want to do, because you just don't know if you're going to have that to do later. When I'm out of the room, I think so many people that don't know me, they see a person that's relatively young. I like cars. I drive around Ferraris. I drive around Porsches. So I always hear so many people say such negative things that just have no idea who I am. And then I realize that I want people to just realize who I actually am. I'm not a guy that just wants to flaunt cars. I just like cars. You know what I mean? I'm just into those things. So what I want people to think is like, man, he's just the guy that's willing to help people with whatever they need. I don't care about the stuff. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the sales. I just want people to be like, man, that's just a good guy. And the follow-up to that, at the end of my career, I always think about like, what would people think if they came to my funeral? When I'm gone, what are they gonna say? And so I always go back to like that core value of just like, be the agent that other agents want to help. Because I think at my funeral, I don't want anybody to say, oh man, he ran the #1 team with EXP. Oh man, he was the #1 rev share earner at EXP. Oh, he recruited more agents than anybody else, right? Like, who cares? At the end of the day, you want people to show up because they're like, man, every time I needed that guy, he was there. He answered his phone, or at least called me back. But when I needed help with my family, he was there. When I needed help with real estate, he was there. He helped me grow my business. He was there when I needed him. That's like the biggest thing. I think if people just realize like, man, that dude would give you the shirt off his back, that is by far the biggest accomplishment that we can have at the end of the day, I think. What do I want to be known for? I really am pushing for people to realize like, I am just the guy that wants to out-train everyone else in everything. Like, we do commercial, we do land development, we do sales, we do team building, we invest, we fix and flip, we do wholesale, like whatever it is, we do it. So I want everybody, whether they're local or they see this online, I want them to be like, I want to call that guy, because that guy is out here training no matter what brokerage people are at, no matter what they're into, no matter whether they're new investors, old investors. I just want people to think, man, that's the person I need to be around, whether I'm coming to EXP to do it or whether I just want to reach out and see how he can help me. That's what I want people to know us for nowadays.